This demonstrates the tax definition. Question number 4. The taxpayer challenges a tax assessment, arguing that because the levy was not based on a new direct public service received by him, constitutes an illegal exaction. So the basis of the complaint is there's no direct public service that he received. Which of the following elements of the definition of tax is being fundamentally misunderstood by the taxpayer in this argument? Letter A. The requirement that the tax must be proportional in character, meaning the burden must reflect the individual taxpayer's immediate capacity to pay. Well, while this is understood as correct, but as a correct statement, but it does not justify the contention of the taxpayer, or it does not direct to the misunderstood fundamental definition of the taxpayer's argument. Letter B. The nature of a tax as enforced contribution, which makes it a mandatory charge that cannot be considered voluntary payment or donation. Okay, while this is true, but again, his argument is there's no direct public service received by him. So that's why he does not want to pay the tax. Letter C. The principle that a tax is levied for public purpose, which means that benefit in general and not a direct specific benefit to individual payer. Okay, so I think this one is a direct answer to the fundamentally misunderstood concept about the tax, which explains here that tax is assumed or presumed to be for public purpose. That it does not mean that it has to have a direct effect to a particular individual or to a specific individual. It does not have to have a specific benefit to a specific individual. So as long as this is for general purpose, like for public purpose, that justifies the tax law. Letter D. The characteristics that tax must be levied by the lawmaking body, making the imposition a legislative and not administrative act. So I think it does not direct to the concern of the taxpayer, which is actually misunderstood, because it's about the exercise, not about the concern of having a direct public service being received by the taxpayer. So therefore, I think the correct answer in here is letter C. In addition to that explanation, the taxpayer's argument hinges the false premise that the tax is a specific payment. Take note that it is not a specific payment. And for a direct measurable benefit, there's no such thing like that. So the intention is to affect the public in general. So one of the 5 key elements of the tax is that it is levied for public purpose. So if you try to review the elements of the tax, it's really one of that. The last one is public purpose. So you see enforced contribution, there's a proportional character and legislative in character, and there's a territorial, and the 5th is the public purpose. So that's the 5th one. So this means that the revenue is intended to support the government and fund general public needs. So like the defense, peace, order, or education, ensuring the general welfare of the entire community. So again, general public, in other words, entire community. That's the That's the direction, but it does not mean that it has to it can affect immediately the entire community, because some are not accessible for the reason that they're not really accessible by the situation of the taxpayer. Let's say if there are roads in Bicol and the taxpayer is in Davao, of course there's a thin chance or a very tiny chance that the taxpayer can use that road in Bicol. But again, that one is again available or can be accessible by anybody. The benefit of the taxpayer the benefit of taxation is general and indirect. Again, there is no requirement to be direct to the taxpayer. The payment of the tax does not guarantee the taxpayer a specific immediate service equivalent to the amount paid. So we need to understand that there's no such thing as it is a requirement of the tax law to be like that. So the absence of the new direct public service does not invalidate the tax law. Thank you.